Heading into 2025, Ferrari made a bold call. They scrapped almost everything from last year's car. Instead of evolving the SF-25, team principal Frédéric Vasseur revealed that the new SF-25 shared less than 1% of its predecessor's parts. Ferrari's motivation for such a radical overhaul was clear. They wanted to tidy up airflow around the chassis and open the door for future aerodynamic progress. Something the old concept had pretty much reached the limits of. It was always going to be a gamble. The SF-25 ended 2024 in incredible form. While Lando Norris was Max Verstappen's biggest challenger, it's easy to forget how close Ferrari actually got, finishing nearer to Norris in the standings than Norris did to Max. After the summer break, the team delivered standout results. Both drivers winning in Monza, back-to-back triumphs in Austin and Mexico, including a 1-2 finish, and nearly stealing the Constructors' title from McLaren, missing out by just 14 points in Abu Dhabi. So expectations for 2025 were sky high. Red Bull seemed to be losing some of its dominance. Lewis Hamilton had joined to form one of the strongest driver pairings on the grid, and Ferrari's late 2024 pace had many predicting a genuine title challenge. For this new season, Ferrari completely reworked the car's front end. They switched to a pull rod front suspension, a major engineering shift aimed at improving development potential, lowering the centre of gravity, and managing airflow from the front wing more effectively. The downside? If the aero platform and suspension aren't perfectly in sync, the setup becomes tricky, with a much narrower operating window. The team also pushed the cockpit, engine, and fuel tank further back. A high-stakes move designed to extract more performance potential, though it carried the risk of upsetting the car's balance. Redesigning so much of the mechanical and aerodynamic structure promised long-term gains, but demanded time and precision to fully unlock. Unfortunately, things haven't gone to plan. The SF-25 has left many surprised, not in the way Ferrari hoped. While McLaren has stunned everyone, Ferrari's car has been underwhelming, even compared to Red Bull and Mercedes. There's race-winning potential buried within the design, but to access it, the car needs to run extremely low to the ground. The problem? It struggles to stay there at high speeds or on rougher circuits. Ferrari's been unable to control the car's aerodynamic platform, making it inconsistent and difficult to keep within its optimal performance window. This instability has also caused excessive plank wear, a critical issue that surfaced immediately when both drivers were disqualified in China for breaching wear limits. That incident exposed deeper problems in Ferrari's understanding of the SF-25's setup behaviour. Since then, the team's season has been an exercise in damage control. They've been hesitant to raise the ride height, knowing it would drag performance down, especially in qualifying where every fraction counts. But with the 2025 grid so tightly packed, both drivers have sometimes been knocked out as early as Q2. To stay competitive, Ferrari's been forced to run dangerously low, risking performance penalties and reliability concerns. To manage the problem during races, Ferrari has resorted to slowing the cars through various means: higher tyre pressures, altered engine maps, and even instructing Hamilton and Leclerc to lift and coast or avoid bumps to limit damage. It's a compromise that shows just how fragile their setup balance has become. And in the final year of these regulations, you simply can't afford that kind of uncertainty. If you want to fight for the championship, you need to win races right from the opening rounds. Something Ferrari has found painfully difficult in 2025. If you start a season with a car capable of winning races, like Red Bull did in 2021 when they threw everything behind Max Verstappen's first title push, then it makes sense to keep developing that car right to the end of the year. You do whatever it takes to give your lead driver the best possible shot at the championship, even if that means sacrificing some focus on next year's project. But just a few rounds into 2025, it became painfully clear that Ferrari's radical new concept had gone wrong. The gamble to start from scratch simply didn't work. The performance gap to McLaren grew so large, so quickly, that it was obvious Ferrari wouldn't be able to close it, let alone mount a title challenge. Ferrari's development path this season has reflected that reality. Instead of chasing aerodynamic gains to match McLaren's relentless progress, the team has spent most of the year fixing the fundamentals. In Spa, for example, they introduced a revised rear suspension designed to help with their persistent ride height problems. But while McLaren's upgrades tend to deliver instant results, Ferrari's changes barely moved the needle. Both drivers admitted the improvements were small and that the car would still take time to understand and fine-tune. Then came Hungary, the moment Ferrari pushed too far. Believing they'd solved their platform issues, they lowered the car aggressively to extract every bit of performance. It worked in qualifying, with pole position suggesting a breakthrough, but the race told a very different story. Excessive plank wear returned, forcing the team to raise tyre pressures mid-race, which, as Leclerc put it, made the car undrivable. And that, in many ways, sums up Ferrari's 2025 campaign. Their position in the constructors' standings flatters them. For all the talk about Hamilton's struggles, both drivers have extracted roughly the same level of performance from the car. The only reason Ferrari's points total looks respectable is because the second drivers at Red Bull and Mercedes haven't performed to the level of their teammates. In another reality, one where Red Bull kept Perez and Hamilton stayed with Mercedes, Ferrari would likely be sitting fourth in the standings, exactly where their true pace deserves. That context matters. On one hand, it's a credit to Frederic Vasseur for signing two elite drivers capable of maximising every opportunity. But on the other, Ferrari's final position this season won't reflect how far off the mark their car has been. Even if they end up finishing second to McLaren without a single win, it will be a misleading picture of their year. Because in truth, this has been a deeply disappointing season. For a team with drivers like Hamilton and Leclerc, the only acceptable target is fighting for the championship. Anything less is failure. Ferrari took a brave swing in 2025, hoping to find performance in areas the previous concept couldn't reach. But it was a swing that missed. Their lack of understanding of the new mechanical platform and suspension concept has left them on the back foot since round one. Looking ahead though, there's a silver lining. Ferrari's upgrades this year have focused more on mechanical systems than on pure aero, and that's deliberate. Those components will carry over into the 2026 regulations. In a way, this season has become a live test program, giving them crucial data on their suspension concept that could prove invaluable next year. Even in failure, there's value. Experience, learning, and clarity for the future. And if Ferrari can apply what they've learned to build a car that's competitive right out of the box in 2026, then maybe this painful 2025 season will have been worth it after all. That's all for this one. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and help support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.